Good morning and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Prashant Pavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 17th September and the first topic that we have is pertaining to the seesaw, right? On which on one end we find a US dollar and the other end we find Indian rupee. So you have two articles. One is the rupee problem and the second one is where goes the rupee. A couple of days ago we were talking about these steps that are taken by union government to sort out this issue, as we all are aware about this thing that rupee is depreciating at present, right? And in past couple of days it is one of the worst performing currency in Asia. But you can also argue this thing that technically speaking the worst performing currency is a Turkish currency. But anyways, in last couple of days Indian rupee is behaving very erratically, and it's not good for our economy, of course. So Government of India took recently it has decided that it is going to take some important steps like curb non-essential goods. Now, curb import of non-essential good. How it works is, see, we have to purchase, whenever we import something then we have to give out dollar, isn't it? So if you curb this imports, then less dollar you have to give out. Encourage export, simple as that we will get more dollars coming in, isn't it? So this is going to be beneficial for us. Then current account deficit, we don't want to see deficit in our current account, we want to see current account surplus. Removing restrictions on foreign portfolio investments, that means more money will be coming into our bond and share market. If we remove all these hurdles, then foreign investors, they will invest in our market. That money will again be coming in dollar. Encouraging Indian borrowers to issue rupee dominated masala bonds. When you issue masala bonds, so basically you are borrowing money from the market, again money coming from international market into our country in the form of dollar. Now let me throw some more light on this topic here. See, Reserve Bank of India, right, at present it is holding enough, you can say a sort of casket of or you can say a box of dollar, right? We have, reasonably speaking, handsome amount of dollar reserves in at present with RBI, and so it's not a matter of concern as far as this short-term issue, right? If we look at it, or if we want to use it for short-term, then it's fine. But remember, this is not going to be its permanent solution. And how it works is that, say for example, one of the main reason why dollar or the value of dollar is going up is because of its demand. Right, if the demand of dollar is going up, then its price will go up as well, because you have limited supply in the market. So because of this thing, what will happen is automatically rupee will fall down. And it's not just the Indian rupee that is falling down. You have other currencies as well, like euro, you have pound, Turkey and South Africa. Their currency is also going through this rough phase or turbulent phase. So when we have this money with our RBI, what it does is that it will supply, to control this nosedive, just in case if you want to. This is just a method that I'm discussing with you guys so that you can have some overall understanding about how it works. So if RBI thinks that it wants to control this free fall of Indian rupee, then it will start pumping dollar in the market. So what will happen is that demand is going up, or there is a reasonably good demand of dollar in the market. But when you start pumping dollar in the market, so you are fulfilling this demand with supply, so it will create a sort of equilibrium, So this is how it can be controlled. So this is just one example here for your understanding. Now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has rightly observed that external factors are the cause of this free fall of Indian rupee, and he is totally right as well, because what is happening is that global capital market, or you can say this investors, they are heading towards their whole flow from emerging countries like India. Their money, they are taking out money from our country, and they are heading towards USA because of two important reasons. The first one is USA President Mr. Trump, a couple of months ago, he announced that a massive decrease in corporate tax rates will be given. So that means you have to pay less tax, and if less tax is something, if you can make more money, remember in business you have to calculate all these things. So if you can make more money by doing business in USA. If you have to pay less corporate tax, that means more money will be there in your pocket. So you will invest in that market. There are other examples as well, but this is very simple example. So I hope it makes sense when I'm saying that when corporate tax rates are reduced, it will attract investment. Second, US Federal, that is their RBI or Central Bank of USA, that is known as Federal Reserve, has also increased interest rates. That means two things for us. Here is Federal Reserve. It is also known as Fed. So when interest rate goes up, right, the percentage of interest rate goes up or it is increased by Federal Reserve, then loans will become dearer, will become a bit expensive. So earlier on, what used to happen is that if you want to invest in India, or if you are an investor, then what you will, or if you are an investor, or if you want to do a business or something, right, just take anything. I'm just giving you hypothetical examples that will help you develop your understanding and capacity, right? That's the most important thing. So it's not being too technical here. We can do business as well, and you can be an investor as well. It depends. So if you want to invest something in India, or as a matter of fact any other country, right, you will go for a cheap loan. For example, you will, if you think that you can get $1 lakh from Bank of USA at 3% rate interest, and if you invest this money in India, you can make 4%. You return that you will get will be 4%. So 1% is your profit, right? So that's all right. That's sustainable thing, isn't it? At least you are making profit. So this whole plan, when this interest rate is increased to, say, for example, 4.5, just imagine 4.5, then this is not going to be a good plan. So you won't be inclined to take a loan for investment. This is the first thing. Second thing is that if you have money, say for example, if I have $1 lakh with me and I want to invest it somewhere in the market, now what I find is that if I invest it in India, I get 2%, but if I keep this money with a bank in USA, then I get a 4% interest rate. So I would say that rather let's park the money here. So money is flowing towards, particularly dollar is flowing towards USA. So these are the two reasons because of which whole this situation is, or the reason why we are going through this rough patch. Now we know the ripple effect of this dollar, or value of dollar, or to be more specific, using this terminologies of financial world, appreciating dollar. So because of this appreciation in dollar value, what is happening is diesel and petrol or fuel is getting expensive for us. We import 80% of our fuel, so it's going to hit us very badly. Inflation is something that we have to face now. The second thing is that all those businesses who have borrowed money from international market, they have to pay extra or their servicing cost. That means interest and everything will become a bit expensive, which is many times it will force you to step out of business. It can hit you that badly. So all these things are creating a sort of situation where Monetary Policy Committee will raise interest rates again in our country to control inflation. And because of this thing, the example that we were talking about USA, the same thing will happen with India as well, that interest rate will go up. So this investment climate, which is need of the hour, particularly investment coming from private sector, public money has already been injected by government. Now what we need is second engine of growth, that is private investment. We want private investment in our country, but if interest rate, right, if RBI is forced to take this decision to raise interest rate, of course to control inflation, then it's going to impact this whole pace or speed of our economic cycle. It will slow down a little bit. So this is a thing, and foreign portfolio investors, right, they will pull out of India if they find that they are not making that much money. So the thing is, there is a way out, and this is the most interesting thing about this article here. This article is talking about a solution as well. The solution is NRI bonds, right? That is non-resident Indians bonds. Now this bonds basically means a sort of an instrument through which I will purchase bond and I will give you money for that bond, right? Simple as that. So when Indians, NRIs particularly, if they will purchase bonds, if we offer NRI bonds, and if they get good interest, or if they are making good money out of it. When I say good, I mean to say, of course, they are not going to be super rich by just buying bonds, but reasonably speaking, if they earn more money than what they are earning by keeping this money in their banks. And a good thing for us is that the banks in UK, most of them, and again in USA, they don't give you that good, handsome, you can say, money, or your interest rate is very low. If you want to park your money, or if you want to just keep your money as deposits in the bank, right? In fact, there are many places where you have to give money because they are holding and keeping your money safe. So anyways, interest rate, we don't have to pay 9%, 10%, 15% interest rate on this NRI bonds. It should be a bit extra than what they can make in UK and USA's bank. So if we can do this thing, then we can, because we have tried this thing back in 2013. It was a big success at that point of time, reasonably all right, I can say, rather than a failure. It was a success thing. It worked at that point of time. It should work now as well. It can definitely work now as well. And all these things, is creating a positive vibe as well. When I say all this thing, I mean to say this steps that are taken by government, because if you go through financial papers of the day today, you will find that in multiple financial papers, this thing is reported that sentiments, right, are quite high, quite positive, because investors are taking this steps taken by government as a positive thing. They know that government is standing by them. Government is trying everything possible to control this situation, and this turbulent period will get over soon, things like that. So positive sentiment is a very important thing, and this is something that this positive vibe is something that is felt at the moment in our country. So that's a good thing. Now what we need to do is we need to smoothen ease of doing business. We have to make sure that money is coming into our country. We can deploy this NRI bond thing. We have to create this confidence in foreign portfolio investors, and FDIs, of course, we want them, but on top, right, we should work on this NRI idea, NRI bonds idea. And that's everything in these two articles. Now moving on to another item, it is about lethal filth. The pictures that you can see on your screen, of course, I'm sure you know the name of this act. It's called manual scavenging, which is of course inhuman. It is not acceptable at all, and it's very sad as well that we find that so many people are dying on regular basis because of this manual scavenging. This was something that was totally banned. It is totally banned, of course, at present as well. We have this 2013 act called Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act of 2013. Under this provision, what happens is that if you ask someone to do this job of manual scavenging, right, then you can be thrown behind the bars for 2 years. Do you know this thing? If something happens to that person, then the blame will come on you, because you are the one who created this whole situation. Now law will not look at this thing whether you were aware about a particular law or not, right? If you have done something, even if you know that this is right, even if you don't know whether a sort of law exists on this thing, right, the law is going to take you. So this is something that we need to understand, right? If any one of us or in our society, this is something that is very common. It is a matter of shame as well that we are literally, life is so cheap, or the value of life is nearly cheap. You can say it's cheap in the sense negative way, right? It's no one cares about it, isn't it? Every day you find this sort of incidents taking place. And when it comes to health and safety, we are worst in health and safety, right? We don't know H and S of health and safety. So this is means if you observe even government contracts and all these things that are going on, you will find that people who are working out there, right, on highways, many times I have encountered this thing, that you have a sort of curve, right, a sort of curve in the highway, and they are working over here, right, and you are coming with your car over here, and when you reach here you realize that someone is working, and then all of a sudden you have to make a quick maneuver. This is lack of health and safety. They are not, means people who are working there, they are we can excuse them, because they are not that much educated or aware about this thing. But people, we have rules and regulations, everything on our books. But officers, and there are so many educated people, they don't care about this sort of thing. And 5 young men, they have died in Delhi as they were cleaning this, this septic tank in an upmarket residential community. At the same time, we got similar news coming from Odisha. If I take you through the figures of Tamil Nadu, then in last 3 years, 144 fatalities took place in Tamil Nadu because of this manual scavenging. As far as Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation is concerned, it is not sure about, means we don't have any data as well as far as this mechanical pumps to clear this septic tanks are concerned. We don't know how many mechanical pumps we have, or in fact we have them or not with our government. See, whatever we want to do nowadays, we are working on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is very important for the health and beautification of our nation. But at the same time, we have to ensure that all these toilets that we are creating is a positive thing. But this should not work, or it should not become a breeding ground for this manual scavenging. We need to deploy all this latest gadgets and machineries that are available. You don't have to send someone, a person down there in this gutter, right? You can send a camera as well and observe everything. And that's what they do in developed countries, right? But over here, still this thing is going on, and I bet you this is not going to end now. I'm not being pessimistic here, but I have gone through so many articles like this one. No one cares about them, to be honest. This is very sad. At least we should at least not offer them job that includes manual scavenging. That's everything that I would like to talk about this lethal filth editorial. With this, dear friends, we have 50% off on our pen drive and tablet courses at present. This is going to last till 23rd September, so make the most out of it. And let's move on to another item. But before that, you can download the PDF. Just to let you know, download the PDF of today's lecture from my FB page and Twitter handle. Now, dear friends, power of Kadamba Shri. You can see here, this is the article that we are going to go through. Kadamba Shri stands for a mission. It is run by State Poverty Eradication Mission, SPEM, of government of Kerala. Right, so it's a state government program or mission, SPEM, State Poverty Eradication Mission. Remember this SPEM, and it is going on in Kerala. Now, there are around 4 lakh women of Kadamba Shri self-mobilized across the state of Kerala to do relief work, including collecting, packing and distributing relief materials, clean up public spaces and private homes, and counseling affected families and putting them in touch with concerned authorities. So they played a very important role in this relief as well as rehabilitation that is going on at present. Nearly relief is over, but now rehabilitation is going on. And in both these phases, this Kadamba Shri woman played a very important role. Kadamba Shri State Mission estimates that Kadamba Shri groups cleaned some 11,300 public places like schools, hospitals, panchayat buildings and Anganwadi centers, and 2 lakh houses. Can you believe this thing? And everything is happening because, this man-hour is invested because of this. Means the whole nature is voluntary, right? It's not that they are making money or profit out of it. They're doing it for the betterment of our society. And around 40,000 affected families received counseling and information assistance from this Kadamba Shri group. Now, 38,000 Kadamba Shri members opened their houses when people were not having, people affected with this floods. If they were left with nothing in their hands, they were not having anything at all, and on top you were, facing this heavy rainfall as well. So this 38,000 Kadamba Shri women, they opened their doors for people so that they can take a refuge for time being or in their house. So they are truly, everything that they are doing reflects that they are doing with their heart. And 7.4 crore total donation has been provided by this ladies' lot. A volunteer relief work was executed by them. And the good thing about this whole organization or this whole setup is that it is democratic, it is secular in function. So if you perform well, you will, go up. If you don't perform, then you will stay where you are. So that's how it works over there. That's what this article is trying to say. And this is something that we need to, it's a new feather in our hat, and we need to implement this thing, the successful model of Kudumbashri in different parts of our country as well. Now this one is about covering the last field. It's basically talking about insurance cover or in our agriculture sector. And we know that we have this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, that is PMFBY. It's farmer friendly, of course, and it's linked with Jandan Yojana and Digital India. Compared to previous insurance cover schemes that we used to have in our country, it is more advanced, or the most advanced so far, we can say. It has, of course, definitely increased coverage. At present, 5.7 crore farmers, not at present, beg your pardon, back in 2016, 7.5 crore farmers were covered under this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, and some insured crossed to 2 lakh crore rupees as well. But we find some flaws as well with this scheme, and the flaw with this is that many times what we find is that farmers, they don't get proper compensation on time. And this is a big thing, and because of this thing we saw this thing that 17% farmers refrained themselves from rejoining this scheme because they thought that it's not beneficial at all. So this is a sad thing. 17% is not a small amount. The other thing is what we need to do is we need to sort out these faster claims, and we need proper price as well. It should not be that if government is paying, then let it pay as much as it can, because our farmers are poor. This is not how it works. You need to calculate each and every penny if you want to be in the store. So this crop cutting experiments that are conducted by the government, this CCEs are not sustainable. They are not scientific as well. When I say scientific, I mean to say they are not up to date. What's going on so far is that we use this CCEs. In CCEs, the government will choose, it will scientifically design survey, and it will choose a particular area in a village, and it will grow rice over here. And so different crops are grown in different seasons, and this is just a small sample fields where they grow this thing, and based on this yield, it will take a sort of calculation that this much production has taken place in our country and this much loss, etc., whatever it is. So this is not the most accurate way of calculating. Now, at one point of time it was all right, but now we have this remote sensing cameras and remote sensing satellites, and we have this detailed weather data. We can use big data analytics, and if we use all these things, right, then we can get an accurate as well as an efficient you can say figure on amount of yield, as well as how much we are producing and in which area, everything. That nowadays it is possible, so we can sort this thing out. So this is something that we can, or we should deploy. And as far as premium is concerned for farmers, if we even don't charge anything from this marginal and small farmers, then as well it's possible for us to provide them insurance scheme, because we can work on this insurance for all, mandatorily or automatic insurance. As you are a farmer, then you will be covered under under this Fasal Bima Yojana. The only difference will be that if you are marginal and small, then you will not have to pay anything. That's what we can do, right? I'm not saying that government has started doing it. What I'm saying is we pay some 1.5 to 2% of premium price or premium money, and the rest of this money is looked after by state and central government. So automatic insurance, we can get it for everyone, but if you are a small and marginal farmer, then you don't have to pay anything. But if you are a big farmer, then money will be collected, or your premium will be decided based on your actuarial premium. You will have to pay actuarial premium. That means if you have huge piece of land, right, extravagant, I can say, then you will have to pay that much, because you are given so much exemptions, isn't it? So at least you need to pay premium, and this premium can go up and down, depends on how much land you have, what you are trying to plant and grow. And we can keep an eye as well on this thing by remote sensing satellites and everything. So if insurance, if we charge proper market rate insurance for our big farmers and medium farmers, then we can support. We will have enough money, because if we give it out for free, the way things are going on, 1.5 to 2% thing, it costs us 10,000 crore rupees annually, but we can make more money from this premium that we collect from rich as well as medium farmers. We can use this money as for supporting this free for all insurance scheme. So this is the thing with this article here. Lastly, I would say that that this loan waiver culture is bad for us. We need to get rid of it, and one of the way is to provide loan waiver is something that it is post damage, that once this damage is done and now you are getting money, so that is no point. What we need to do is we need to work on preventive side. That means if something goes wrong, then you will be provided with this insurance money. So then there is no point of discussing this whole farm loan waiver thing, and later on it will get vanished. So even this you can say small and marginal farmers will be covered under this insurance. So a couple of days ago we were talking about loan waiver, and you know that loan waiver applies only on this formal loans and not on informal loans. So this way this new methodology can help us cover our poor farmers as well. Transforming agriculture, it is about this convention on biological diversity. Now, climate change and development without consideration for biodiversity are leading to loss of biodiversity. Now, we have National Biodiversity Action Plan, that is NBAP. Now, Green Agriculture Project with FOA, that is Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations. It is supporting our NBAP. And in our 5 states, that is Madhya Pradesh, Mizoram, Odisha, Rajasthan and Uttarakhand, this project is being implemented, and it is basically about making our agriculture a bit more sustainable, a bit more eco-friendly, how we can preserve our forests and things like that. And I have some very interesting GK for you guys here, that rice, chickpea, pigeon pea, mango and eggplant, all these things are basically, they took birth in our country. Yeah. And let me add one more thing. Do you know that potatoes, they come from Peru? With this latest news, bad news for us as far as our water security is concerned. Generally speaking, we talk about Ganga and the states like Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and they're not keeping their Ganga clean and things like that. But if we go through this new finding, what we find is that states like Maharashtra, Assam and Gujarat, they have 117 rivers that are polluted out of 351 rivers that are in question. So it's a matter of shame, of course. Then 3 arrested in Rewari gang rape case. CIC wants a breakup of how MPLADS, that is MP Lads funds are utilized. And MP Lads it's a fund that MPs can use a lot. If you are an MP, say for example, then at the end of the year you have 5 crore rupees. You can allot it to anyone you like in any district, and this will be implemented by the district level administration. So recently it was in news. At present we are going through it because of this CIC, that is Central Information Commission, has asked Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha chairman to come out with a legal framework to ensure its transparency. It means MP Lads transparency, and hold parliamentarians and political parties accountable for their obligations under the scheme. Earlier on it was in news because Lok Sabha Speaker as well as Rajya Sabha Chairman appealed and urged to all these MPs to utilize this 5 crore that they get for the development of Kerala. Now, a typhoon slams into China and storm toll rises 13 as US states braces for river flooding. Can you give me the name of this flood here and this flood here? Or not flood, but this natural calamity. Now, in managing water, Surat takes the lead. It is going to recycle industrial water, and this water will be supplied to the industries so that the fresh water is not affected. We have cleared the 2.2 billion frigates deal with Russia. So after after this Komkasa, when we are going ahead with this project 11356, this means that we are strategically important as well as independent. And help yourself with these other items that you can see on your screen. As far as US's population is concerned, and migrants particularly, then Indians are third largest group in USA. These are your vocabularies. This is your map based quiz. Now the quiz, I have a hint for you guys. It's Europe that you are looking at. And one more clue, just in case if it helps you, is President of India. That's everything that I would say. And these are your questions here. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy your studies. Jai Hind.